the opening night will be Wednesday, and that event we screen one film and then have a party. And then that gives us the Thursday to have a full night of movie watching and events.
Welcome to the new season of the Atlantic International Film Festival podcast. We are excited to be ramping up for the 2024 festival, which opens on September the 11th. Celebrating its 44th year, AIFF provides an immersive escape and experience for movie lovers, filmmakers, and industry professionals worldwide, in the heart of historic downtown Halifax, Nova Scotia. To kick off this season, I was joined by Martha Cooley, the executive director of AIFF. We discussed what was new about this year's festival and what movie lovers can expect. Martha, welcome to the AIFF podcast, your podcast.
Thank you.
Well, your organization's podcast, your festival's podcast. I wondered if you could, first of all, just tell everyone a little bit about yourself and kind of the passion you have for this festival.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Martha. I've been the executive director of the Atlantic International Film Festival since 2022. So relatively new to the festival, but not new to the organization, to the experience of going to the festival. I've been attending since I lived in Halifax, since I moved here in 1999. So a long time attendee. And I used to volunteer for the festival, back in the day when I was a film student. I used to help. I don't know if you remember, but they used to have an opening night party on Argyle Street.
No, I only moved to Halifax in 2018, so it might have been before my time.
Before your time, yeah. So they used to have this street party. They would actually shut down the block of Argyle Street and have this giant party with a live music and a big stage and everything. And I used to actually volunteer for that when I was a film student as a way to get a free pass to the festival, so I could go to see all the movies that I wanted to.
Like going from being someone who was just passionate about, hey, I'm going to put some voluntary hours in, get a pass, go and see some cool movies and kind of be around the filmmakers. How about that transition into the position you're in now? I guess it must be like a dream job, I suppose, if that was the thing that kind of got you excited about the festival. Totally
a dream job. And I feel like one of those things that is more possible in a place like Halifax, to have that kind of career trajectory, to go from being, just an attendee, an audience member, a volunteer, to actually leading something like this is kind of what a place like Halifax offers in terms of, being small and lots of opportunities to grow and develop.
So every year, I suppose you are in this exciting position where you're like, we've got this festival. We are going to celebrate local filmmakers, but also we can look around the world or across Canada to find who else we can bring to town. That must be a very exciting opportunity, but also at the same time, this is so open-ended. So how do you kind of navigate that in terms of building that program?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, we get, over 900 films submitted to the festival every year. That's just submissions. Plus, of course, our programming team, casts a wider net, looks at what other festivals are playing, looks at, tracks and follows the careers of some of our alumni that are playing films all over the world. So yeah, there's a lot of films in consideration. It is kind of overwhelming, and they're at a point, they come to a point where it's all kind of swirling around them, and then you just have to start making decisions and choices. And of course, it comes down to, you can't have 7 films all about, someone returning home for the first time in 20 years or whatever it is, or road trip movies. So you have to kind of start, picking and choosing not just country and representation, but also thematic representation and, trying to. It's difficult.
There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, for sure.
In terms of the when you do ask people, like when we did the last podcast for last year's festival, the last season, people were so excited that they had a real reason to go. I've always said I wanted to go to Halifax, and now I've got this opportunity to come here. It felt like the festival was created these opportunities for filmmakers to come here. So what kind of response do you get from them when you're like, hey, welcome to Halifax, where we'd love to screen your film?
Yeah, I think that's a great thing for us, is that the selling point of the region, of the tourism elements. Often people have never been to Halifax, even a lot of Canadians. They just haven't been able to travel out east. There hasn't been sort of a reason or a draw. People always want to know where to get lobster and where the best seafood is. So we try and do a lot of that that kind of hosting when people are in town too, and really show them what the East Coast is all about. And, the festival itself is laid back and friendly and welcoming, as is the city. So I think people have a really great experience.
And one of the things that I remember as well was how much local, Atlantic Canadian talent was were able to kind of come here and really kind of they're excited about the fact that they had this local platform to share their work on. And then I noticed a few of the filmmakers would then go on to other festivals afterwards. So what is the value of the festival to the kind of the local film production community and creative community?
Yeah, I think it's really important. It's always good to be big at home, right? To have that hometown crowd, that hometown support. It really, for a lot of films, it is a launching pad for whatever else their films end up doing on the festival circuit. They get that really great full house here, some great feedback from kind of the first audiences, the first viewers. A cast and crew kind of party often if they're actually from Halifax. But yeah, I think it's really important. And we have an awards element too for Atlantic films. So, again, winning an award, that's something you put on your CV that helps you get into other festivals. It helps with your future projects, getting funding. So yeah, I think it's a really important element for the local industry.
And then I wanted to ask you a little bit about your excitement for this year, because, everything seems to be coming together. You're ramping up, ready towards September. What are you most excited about for this year?
Most excited about? I feel like we're bringing back a lot of events this year. It feels, every year post-COVID, we've been saying we're back. But 2024 certainly feels even more back. Feels back, in terms of we're bringing back some events that we haven't had in a number of years. We're hosting a new event in collaboration with an organization from Ontario. It just feels like it's going to be a vibrant, not just the film screenings, which have always been, steady and consistent and growing in terms of our audience, but also some of our parties and receptions and industry events.
Yeah, that's one thing I remember is lots of cool little parties dotted around the city with different partners in different locations. And it's kind of one of the charms about it is that everyone gets to kind of explore and go to these different places and mingle with local production crew and people who are just interested in filmmaking as a passion, but also the talent who are visiting too. So that's good to know. I like that part of I like that part of the festival. And in terms of the talent that's come in here, could you talk a little bit about some of the films that are going to be showcased and also the brilliant people behind them, I guess? Yeah,
so we're doing a special pre-release before our full program launch. So we're going to release 3 films that were made in the Atlantic region that are actually having their world premieres at the festival in September. So one of them is a film called Skeet from Newfoundland by writer-director Nick Sexton. This film is gritty. It's shot in black and white. The production of the film actually took 7 years, which is, long for a feature. And it's about an unlikely friendship between an ex-convict and a Syrian refugee who are now sharing the same neighborhood and trying to sort of navigate similar tensions about belonging and dignity and how to face the social pressures that they're under and try and live a good life. So yeah, that's one we're really excited about. There is a character in the film that plays that is a child in the early part of the film and then ends up playing himself 7 years later in the film as an older child. So it's kind of a neat thing, a neat sort of side effect of the fact that the film took so long to make. I think it was a real passion project for the director. It's something he's very proud of and passionate about. And I know he involved members of the Syrian Newfoundland community in the making of the film, which was really important to him. There's some folks who were involved as story consultants and producers. And yeah, Nick himself is an award-winning filmmaker from Newfoundland. His short film, How to Be Deadly, his first short film was accepted at TIFF in 2012. And then he made a feature based on that same concept, How to Be Deadly, which won a Best Feature Film Award at the Canadian Comedy Awards and also was our Audience Choice Award winner at the festival in 2014.
So it's exciting. It's to be doing the first premiere of a film that's 7 years in the making. It's going to be quite a special event.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I'm sure he'll be he'll be thrilled to finally show it to people.
Yeah, exactly.
In its entirety.
Oh, I was going to ask you what else there was
Yeah.
as well, yeah.
Yeah, so we're also playing a feature film called Monica's News by writer-director Pamela Gallant. This is a Nova Scotian production. It's a debut feature, so it's Pamela's first feature film. It's a period piece, which is, ambitious always, but they really pull it off. It's set in the 70s and it tells the story of a 9-year-old girl who is sort of determined to have her own paper route, which, of course, at that time especially is a job reserved for boys. She wants to save money to buy a new bike, and she's kind of navigating this misogynistic small town and trying to have it strike her own path through that world. And then her world is sort of turned upside down when her beloved feminist cousin, who she really looks up to and admires, is murdered. So it's a quieter piece. There's lots of interesting historical context and tensions, and the cinematography is really lush and beautiful. And of course, the main character is this little girl, an amazing performance from a child actor. So we're really excited about that. And Pamela is originally from PEI. She's an Acadian director. And she actually won the Women in the Director's Chair award for the screenplay for this film.
Oh, wow.
News. Yeah.
It sounds like it's a very timely topic to be exploring, but
also...
also...
timely, sensitive, tender, and tragic. Yeah, all in one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we do on the East Coast.
I know this is kind
of tragedy.
Exactly, and framing it in like a small town in the 70s. I love the ambition of the period pieces. I'm one of those people who will always try and spot things like CCTV cameras or things that are out of date.
You're one of those.
I can't help myself, but I'm always very impressed when
anachronisms.
Yeah. I love when people seamlessly do the period pieces where you can't tell. There's no wristwatches or anything or earbuds.
I mean, I didn't see anything, but I wasn't watching with that particular lens, and I wasn't able to see it on a big screen yet. So who knows?
It's my own weird compulsion.
Yeah, no, I imagine there's lots of people that are into that.
You mentioned a third film. Can you tell us a little bit about that one as well?
Yeah, so the third film is called Lakeview. It's by writer-director Tara Thorne, who's no stranger to Halifax. This is her second feature, and it is a queer ensemble comedy, which is nice. It's nice to have some levity, especially after the last film I spoke of, and the first one too is a bit more of a drama. So this is about a group of female friends, ex-lovers, and rivals who gather together at a lake house to celebrate a divorce. And then, chaos ensues between them, all the backstories and the present tensions and romantic triangles and secret liaisons, speculations, rumors, gossip, all that sort of comes out over the course of this weekend. So it's funny, it's heartfelt, it's bittersweet, it's a romance, there's singing. And it's an ensemble piece, which again is, ambitious and brave, and we need more of them.
Yeah. That's great that people are. There's that kind of attitude of let's just try and pull something off that is very ambitious, but also gives the opportunity for all the cast as well to really kind of throw themselves at the characters and bounce off each other, I guess.
Totally. And this is Tara's second feature. So her first feature, Compulsus, also played at AIFF in 2022. And that was a much darker film, a sort of feminist revenge thriller genre film, which premiered at Inside Out and played Fantasia and has done very well. And Tara, one interesting thing about Tara is she likes to work with the same actors. So she's incorporating a lot of the same performers from Compulsus, and kind of she wants to build this sort of local cast for her productions, which is kind of, again, a unique model and I think worthy of supporting. No,
that's great. I love that. Mm-hmm. You find some of those stories about some of the most memorable castings in movies happen because of a non-traditional way of approaching how you find your talent, that's exciting to know.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by the live Scripts Out Loud event that is part of the program.
Yes.
Which is kind of a live read-through of classic 90s rom-com scripts. Tell me a little bit about that. It sounds fascinating.
Yeah. So this is, we're developing this now. More information available soon. But yeah, the idea here is to really highlight some of the local actors that we have in Halifax. So we have a cast of local folks, and we're going to do excerpts from, as you said, 90s rom-coms. I don't have all the titles, but I know Sleepless in Seattle is going to be featured. I believe The Birdcage is another one they're going to take some scenes from. And yeah, they're going to play all different characters. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And that will be in the cinema. So it'll be presented in the same space as the movies, a ticketed event for anyone open to the public. Yeah, it's going to be a blast.
Live, I imagine there'll be a lot of semi-improvised moments and people laughing behind scripts.
Yes.
And everything.
There may be that, yes.
Yeah, that should be great. And you've got some great Canadian comedy talent there as well. Looking at the people, you've got people like Heidi Brander from Baroness von Sketch, Caitlin McCulloch, Bob Mann as well, who I've worked with recently on a show, and Eugene Sampang as well from Son of a Critch too. So there's some fantastic local comedy talent, and I'm going to try and muscle my way into that one.
Nice. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So
with the event coming up, where can people make sure that they don't miss out on making sure they're aware of what's coming up in terms of ticket sales, but also events, and how can they start to plan their experience at the event?
Yeah, so as of right now, we do have early bird passes and ticket packages on sale, which is something new we're doing this year. So if you are excited and know you want to attend, you can get a deal on the full festival pass or a ticket package of 2 or 4 or 6 tickets. And then the full program will be launching August 14th at our program launch day. So it'll be all available online that day, and individual tickets will be on sale that day for everything. The full schedule will be available on our website. And we're also going to have a program launch social that day. So to celebrate our program launch and to celebrate all the stuff we're doing, we're going to have an in-person event at the Fab, the formerly Art Bar, it's called, down at NASCAD, from 5 to 7. So that's open to the public. Anyone can stop by and find out a little bit more about what we're up to and get more information about our program.
Fantastic. So one thing that's different about the festival this year is that traditionally has been a Thursday to Thursday, but now it's a Wednesday to Wednesday. I guess it's good for people to know that if they're planning their festival visit. But why was that? Why did that change happen? And why does that kind of what benefit is there to that to people coming?
Yeah. So we decided to shift to a Wednesday start, basically to give us an extra prime day of movie watching attendance. So, the opening night will be Wednesday, and that event we screen one film and then have a party. And then that gives us the Thursday to have a full night of movie watching and events.
Great. So you kind of, it buys you a bit of extra time. And I suppose it shortens the period after the weekend as well, I guess, because I suppose that's where a lot of people and a lot of the buzz will be going on, ramping up to the weekend from that point of view.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, for most festivals, that first weekend is sort of the biggest attended portion of the festival. That's when a lot of our guests are in town. That's when people have time off that they can actually attend events. So really kind of coalescing the energy of the festival into that first Wednesday to Sunday chunk. And then the following week, Monday to Wednesday will be big nights just for screenings and local audiences.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So I've got a question for you. I've been saying AIFF, and I've heard other people say AIFF. So have I been pronouncing the festival correctly? And I need to know this because I'm hosting the podcast again. So am I getting it right? I should have asked you this in the first season, but
yes, no. I mean, this is an evolution, I would say, of our brand. So AIFF is a bit hard to say for some people. I have trouble with it. I sort of have a bit of a stutter over it. And we noticed some people were sort of sounding out the acronym and saying AIFF, which we like. It's got a lightness to it. It's got a freshness to it, and it's easier to say. It sounds a little bit more fun. So we're embracing the AIFF this year, if you want.
It's like TIFF. Nobody says TIF.
That's true. Nobody does say TIF.
So it makes total sense.
Say.
It is. It does. It's not a word. So.
That's right. Yeah, that's a very good point. I hadn't actually thought about that. So AIFF, if you like.
So Martha, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about the event, and I hope to see you at some of the many parties and screenings and events that are going on.
Yes, likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the 2023 Atlantic International Film Festival podcast. Don't forget that this guest and many more will be showcasing the best of international cinema across Halifax from September 14th to the 21st. You can find out more about the events and book tickets by visiting atlanticfilmfestival.ca. I've been Reese Waters. Now go watch a movie.